donors' point of view, they really wanted to see a project in Dominica that is an enhancement of what was there before. So speaking with Don and Steve and the team at ODM, we maintain that focus on those coastal and low-lying areas. Of course, we still need to do some more work in terms of the early warning system capacity in the country. So most of the discussion, if not all the discussion that we've had thus far was that process. So this project is really a continuation of what we have done last year. So as mentioned, we're looking to strengthen national preparedness mechanisms to improve hazard monitoring and alert dissemination. One of the key differences with this project as compared to the last is that with through collaboration with CIMH, we're hoping to install flood landslide monitoring devices which can automatically trigger, or messages can be automatically sent to the system once they reach a certain level. So Sean would go into more detail about that, but simply put, if you have a specific level indicated for where you want persons to be warned, if the warning reaches a certain level, once it's reached, that the system can then send an automated message to the CAP server, can also at the same time send it to key persons identified in country to warn that the waters have reached a certain level. So that is one of the key differences between the previous project and this one. We're now focusing, or trying to focus on a more end-to-end early warning system. Same donor as before, ECHO, 18-month duration as normally these projects are. This time we're starting a little earlier, as we mentioned the 6-month delay last year. So we started the process a little earlier. There are more beneficiaries this time, 4 countries, and as such we have some more funding of approximately $740,000 to cover all 4 countries. These are the beneficiary countries and communities. Steve mentioned the 2 in Dominica, but as also seen, we're also covering Barbados, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. For just to note, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, if you remember, would have also benefited from the last project. So we have a good mixture of those countries who already have the base, and are now looking to enhance the base as those countries that don't really have the system as yet and will now be starting from scratch. So it'll be a good way of sharing experiences, leaning on each other, also leaning on countries that would have benefited previously in terms of developing the system.
What's the criteria for selecting the various communities? I see from Dominica, juvenile calling home. Is there any particular reason for selecting those communities?
Coastal and low-lying areas.
Okay. Because I'm just thinking, I read that and I think Sufra, Scott's Head. So
right down the coast.
Right down the coast. So, but you have juvenile calling home.
Yes.
So
we kind of just sequencing coming down the coast from Portsmouth. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And just to indicate this, the selection of these was not done in isolation. This was a discussion with all the national disaster offices in the countries. I don't know if persons can see that. I don't know if you can turn off the lights. But the 2 areas identified in Barbados, both coastal areas, Sherman's and Martins Bay. I don't need to identify the 2 areas here because you know this. St. Lucia, low-lying area, Dennery. And the same thing for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The 2 areas are pinned here, Vermont Valley and South Rivers. The project has 3 main outputs, again still maintaining that focus from last year. We want to enhance the knowledge of risk and vulnerability to improve preparedness and response. We're having a regional harmonization and knowledge sharing element. This is really where we want to have some standardization across the Caribbean and sharing of experiences. So through this output, we're looking to have the development of a toolkit. We are also looking to document the entire process from start to beginning from start to end, in terms of what you need in terms of a CAP-based early warning system, especially related to small and developing states. Because the same processes that the states will go through, we can't go through because we're slightly different because of our context. So we're going to have a regional harmonization element. We want to also focus on non-traditional partners. The gathering that we have here, these are the groups that we are looking at. I invite into this workshop the NTRC, the persons that have that technical know-how. Right? Because the idea is that each project is really a pilot. So for example, if say CAPES gets funding, it may not be from the PECO in terms of developing a community-based early warning system. They can take that toolkit, they can take that document and at least go through all of the steps that are needed. That will minimize some of the delays that we would have experienced as part of the project, and they will also use it as part of the development of their own process. So I mentioned this just now, so I want to go into that. But just to say, we're hoping to start this November this year, and these are all tentative. So of course, welcome your input. I also have the monetary values there both for this year as well as the overall budget. This output is really looking at the necessary assessments that we will undertake as part of the process. Similar to the last project, we would have done the BCAs as well as the early warning system assessments. So we're going to maintain that. We introduced the CAP, K-A-P, not to be confused with the C-A-P. CAP, this K-A-P CAP is knowledge, attitude, and perception surveys. One of the recommendations that came from the last project is that we didn't have a clear indication of the change in perception or understanding of hazards from the beginning state to the end state. So one of the recommendations that was made is that we would do some level of KAP CAP survey as a measure to both capture the beginning state and the end state. For these two, we're working on actually developing a memorandum of understanding or letter of agreement with the International Federation of the Red Cross. We're still using those established mechanisms of the Red Cross, but we believe that it will be more streamlined if we have a letter of agreement clearly articulating what we want them to achieve, the timelines we want them to achieve. From this, of course, we will have the risk awareness programs as well as the EWS education programs, early warning system education programs. One of the discussions that we can have possibly today in 20 minutes, but definitely tomorrow, is noting the experience with the education coordinators, noting the experience we had last year for the education element. Is this something we want to continue? Are there any new ideas now that we should be thinking at this stage in terms of risk awareness and early warning education programs that we can seek to use? These are some of the things that we can think about as we move forward. We have a tentative schedule here. The first two will be based on discussions that we would have had with the International Federation of the Red Cross. There has also been discussion in terms of not only completing the vulnerability and capacity assessment, but also having capacity building workshops on BCAs in country. And this would have been based on the experiences in Vincent last year, where it was recognized that there are some capacity challenges, human capacity challenges in the Red Cross. And instead of having external parties, external Red Cross agencies coming and do the BCA in country, it's better to have national level capacity building workshops in undertaking the BCA. So this is the option that we are exploring. The third output really speaks to what Damien was referencing just now in terms of the design of the system, having the necessary community and national level meetings in terms of what additional warning dissemination products we want for Dominica as an example, Do we want to procure additional warning? The RDS boxes there for the 2 beneficiary communities. Is it more radiant interrupt? Do we want to go in a different direction? That is really the part of the first point here, the participatory system, in terms of having those discussions about the process. From that, again, we're moving on to the installation, the testing, the procurement of the equipment. I should emphasize here that for testing, there's going to be more emphasis on simulation exercises. Based on the experience last year, we were actually regretting that we were only able to do 1 simulation exercise throughout the project, and it was done in Dominica. So now we're going to have more focus on having those simulation exercises. I can say that this has been also a strong focus from the donor ECHO. They have recommended that simulation exercises play a vital part as part of your testing phase. The third point is speaking to the hazard, the input phase of the early warning system. So this is the flood gauges, the landslide monitoring devices. We have an agreement, a signed agreement with CIMH, who is going to be undertaking that work. In fact, as part of the look in your agenda, tomorrow evening is based on a site visit that CIMH will undertake. The purpose of that will be to determine the quantity, the type and quantity of equipment that they will recommend to be procuring. One of the things that we want to do on this project, I think I hinted at it before, is that we want to front end the procurement and the installation. Simply because we ran out of time last year in terms of testing. We prefer to have 5-6 months left on the project for you to test, see what adjustments need to be made, and as I said, retest, rather than waiting on to the procurement until the end and then running out of that time. Damien has told me several times, early warning system, and I think you all agree, is nothing that you want to have to do. It's either you don't do it or you do it well. So we want to leave enough time to test it. We're really hoping to start this in August in terms of the site visits. I actually shouldn't even say August because CIMH has already started site visits in St. Lucia and Barbados relating to the beneficiary communities there. And as I mentioned, tomorrow Sean will be undertaking a site visit in the 2 beneficiary communities with the same intention of indicating what projects to be procured. The full-scale procurement and participation process, we think, would run into 2016. There are some things that we can do this year, of course. Community meetings. To me, community meetings is something that does not have to wait on anything. This is the project. This is the opportunity to answer any questions you may have on the project. That's project management. In terms of management arrangements, our office will be implementing the project with support from the National Disaster Offices, in the case of Dominica ODM, CIMH, FRC, and other partner agencies in the country. We had our first project board meeting as part of the management arrangements, and I should say that the government of Dominica is actually the chair of that project board. So we have representatives from both the National Disaster Offices, the community representatives because it's a community-driven project, SEDEMA, of course, as well as CIMH as part of that work, right, and the FRC. So we've started the process. This board meeting was had within 3 weeks of the project starting. Because one of the things we have to do is to have a tentative work plan for the year, appreciating that it will change as time goes along. But we would have convened that meeting very early in April to discuss the layout of the project, what was anticipated to achieve this year. Steve would have been the representative for the government of Dominica at that time. Of course, monitoring and evaluation is an important part of the project. This will be ongoing throughout the duration. At the end or near the end of the project, there will be an external evaluation, simply because you need to know, as I mentioned earlier, what activities were completed, what activities were not completed, what lessons can be learned from this project implementation. So, in terms of where we go from here, I mentioned the Inception, the Inception meeting which we have now. There will be 3 additional ones in these 3 additional countries next month and September. So Dominica is the first out of the gate in terms of Inception meeting. The site visits that CIMH would have undertaken have started, and will continue into the middle or end of August this year. The VCA and the CAP Knowledge Aptitude and Perception Study, we want to have that started this year as well. This is something that we can see, that we believe can be something that can be front-ended. We have already started discussions with FRC in terms of moving this process along, because this is one of the things that we can do very early, along with procurement. So, to sum up, is essentially an extension of what we would have started under the project last year. We are not doing anything vastly different. We want to shore up the previous project, make sure all the technical elements related to the system is working, and then we're going to move on to this phase of the project. As I said, the 2 major differences being, we are now focusing on the input element of the early warning system, so we're talking about the flood and landslide gauges. We are also going to be putting a renewed focus on simulation exercises as part of the testing of the project. We're also going to front-end procurement. So I now open for questions.